Hey friends, and welcome back to the I'd Like to Unsubscribe podcast. And it is the podcast where we are officially out of spoons and patience and fake smiling through conversations that really make our souls just kind of leak out of our bodies. Today's episode is I'd like to unsubscribe from energy vampires. Yep, you're probably nodding your head right now because, well, same. So today, Britt and I are going to talk about those people, but not just people, also patterns and pressures that really drain your already limited energy supply. Sort of like a phone that's stuck at 3% and you have 16 apps open and no charger in sight. Because if you live with a chronic illness, then you know energy isn't just valuable, it's sacred. It is literally our currency. And you cannot afford to keep spending it on things that bankrupt you, whether it's emotionally, physically, or even spiritually. So today, Britt and I are going to dive into what an energy vampire actually is, right? How can we spot them? And why energy is so precious when you're chronically ill. Also, how to start setting up some boundaries without really becoming that troll that lives under the bridge. I mean, unless you want to, because that's totally fine too. We're not here to judge you. So grab your tea, your cold pack, and probably a garlic necklace just in case. We're going to start talking about boundaries, burnout, and why your body isn't a community resource center.
What if the life you planned vanished overnight? For Marissa and Britt, it was painful chronic conditions without cures. We lost everything: our health, independence, careers, and even our sense of self. But in the wreckage, we found something unexpected: a chance to rebuild. Welcome to I'd Like to Unsubscribe, the podcast for anyone feeling stuck, lost, traumatized, or just straight up over it. This isn't about surviving illness or trauma. It's about ditching the toxic beliefs holding you back and even daring to dream again. We're bringing real talk, hard-earned wisdom, lots of sarcasm, and practical tools to help you rise. You'll laugh, you'll cry, and you'll remember, even in the darkest moments, hope is still alive. Are you experiencing symptoms of lupus or feeling alone on this journey? The Lupus Foundation of New England is here to help you. They're dedicated to supporting those living with lupus, offering education, resources, and a community to help you navigate the journey. From learning about symptoms and testing to upcoming events and research, the Lupus Foundation of New England has you covered. Visit lupusne.org and connect with others who truly understand. You don't have to do this alone. Visit lupusne.org, that's lupusne.org today. Today we are talking about two of the most undervalued currencies in the world: energy and time. And if you live with chronic illness, you know exactly how unpredictable both can be all the time.
Absolutely. Because we don't wake up with a clear budget, guys. Let's be honest. I don't know about you, but for me, those first 3 or 4 minutes upon waking up and opening my eyes, I can predict probably with like 95% certainty how the majority of my day is going to go. I often can feel like that instant fatigue or fever or body pain upon waking, and I know, okay, this day is going to be a little bit harder than some other days, right?
Oh, yeah.
So us autoimmunities, I like to call, or, any of those of us with chronic illness, like we often wake up wondering, like, am I going to have enough in the tank today to take a shower? How about washing my hair, right? Because that's like a whole production for a lot of us. Can I be productive at work? Can I just exist, right? Like a functioning human. So when something, aka our energy, our time, is that precious, well, then we need to start treating it like it truly matters, like the most.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there are moments that I'm getting up in the morning and I will have to sit down after my shower, not my run, my shower, just to get that breath in, right? So y'all know what I'm talking about. So when it comes to this, like this energy, right, we've got to spend it super wisely. We have to stop handing out like it's like coupons to people, right? That we're standing in front of the store like, and you get some too. No worry. Yeah, go for it. Like, we can't give it out to people who don't earn it and they don't value it, and they're definitely not refilling it.
Yeah. I love your shower reference because I remember there was a time when, like, a couple months, I was so sick. I would get up, I would take a shower, and I would have such a complete exhaustion and fever after that my family would come look for me like 10 or 15 minutes later, and I'd be in my towel under my blankets, and I would be passed out for hours. Just the shower completely like did me in, right?
Yep.
So, all right, so you're just talking about things and people that either don't earn it, they don't value it, and they definitely don't refill it. So those are three areas that are really important. And I think like the longer you live with a chronic illness, and as we mature and we sort of reset our priorities, like those areas start becoming a lot more clear. But in the beginning, like many of us are, I think, still attempting to just live as we always did, right? And we're pushing our body, right?
Yeah.
Maybe you're just saying yes to everyone. I did that for a really long time. And the reality is you can't live as though you have an unchanged life after a diagnosis. Now, I'm not saying it's going to change for the worse and everything is going to be terrible, but it is going to change. So let's just start with the basics, right? Energy vampires, which are in this episode, we're talking about people, patterns, or even your own beliefs that suck the life out of you without giving anything back, right? They're not filling the tank in any way at all. And when you're living with chronic illness, those things that drain you in that way, like it hits differently, and our bodies respond to it, I think, in a much stronger way than, say, someone that's very healthy.
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, like you said, like we are changing now. You have to change. And, you know, these energy vampires come in because we've still allowed them, and they show up as the friend who only calls to dump all their emotional baggage on you. Like, y'all already can picture them in your head. You know who it is, you know? And then they're going to ghost you, right? Because it was all about them. It's the coworker who just cannot take a hint at all, the group chat you're afraid to mute, the one family member who means really well, and why is it always an aunt, you know, but somehow leaves you questioning like your entire existence. Like, why? Just why?
Yeah. And I mean, and like even it could be something that you're in, like a social event. Like if you find yourself at an event and like you know you just didn't want to attend this event at all, right? And now you're standing like in the corner wondering like if you can like fake food poisoning or something, right? And if that counts, if you leave early, like is this considered self-care or is this like social sabotage? Because we've all been there.
Yeah.
But like here's where it gets tricky. I think, you know, some things that drain you in life, clearly, like they're not avoidable. Whether like for you, Britt, it's caring for your kids, or for me, for aging parents, or just having to get up and go to work. The difference is like we really want to sort of categorize these things. Like those are responsibilities. And yes, they might cost us our energy, which they will, but they can also bring meaning or they bring some type of connection. So I think it's really crucial to recognize that difference in your life. And those responsibilities are going to be different for every single person.
Yeah. I mean, you're saying it exactly, right? I mean, there's things that you do that drain you that are responsibilities, but there's a difference between something that drains you and something that completely empties you. Like parenting, to say it the nicest way possible, is very hard. But it doesn't have to be depleting. It's kind of just the way that you do it, right? You have to shift how you do it in order for it to not be there.
Right. Well, and then work kind of goes, you know, it's similar, right? Like maybe it's not, it's just how you're doing it. Like, so maybe it's not about actually like quitting your job. Maybe it's about setting better boundaries within your job, right? Maybe it's taking short breaks, asking if you can work remotely, or specifically looking for a remote job.
Yeah.
It could be maybe just communicating your limits more clearly and choosing what's essential. And it could be asking for reasonable accommodations so that you can actually do your work with the restraints that you have as far as what illness you're living with. And these are our rights. I mean, they are under our ADA disability laws.
Yeah.
For some people, like I've seen, it's shifting to a completely different field, right? Or a different sector of the job field that they're currently in. And I've seen people, and Britt, this includes me and you, like we've gotten really creative with the type of work that we can do, and we've sort of individualized it. So it's not completely draining all of our spoons, as we often say in the autoimmune community.
Yeah, I mean, I often refer to both of us as like the Jill of all trades. You like you figure out something that works for you. Like I
Yeah.
was an attorney. I thought this is what I'm gonna like one day someone's gonna walk in my office, I'll be dead in the chair, like maybe a gavel in my hand. Like I was like, this is what I'm gonna do. But then like life. And if you don't adjust it, it's gonna take you down. So like you gotta like, what are the other things? What are the other things I'm good at? What are the things I want to explore? Like it's super important. Because what
Yeah.
we're saying is that, like, not everything that asks something from you is an energy vampire. Like, we can't categorize everything like that's an energy vampire and I'm going to say no to it. Like, well, then your list is going to be like 4 things. Like, even if something is hard, it doesn't make it a vampire. But if it leaves you feeling resentful or anxious or just completely hollowed out, like, it may be worth putting on the list and reassessing. Like,
Yeah.
that's the caption here. And now for the mamas out there who are like, you're giving me the side eye, and you're like, well, I have this kid. Like, y'all, I get it. Like, I get it, right? I love my kiddos. Like, love them. I adore them. Like, this is from like the heart of a mama who, like, these are my miracles and I adore them. But I do at times feel pretty resentful to them. Okay, so take this weekend for example. I had a day, and y'all have been there, like Marissa, like you get these days. Your body's having none of it. You woke up with like nothing in the tank, and you're like, this is gonna be a good day. Like you know it, right?
It'd be fantastic today. Yeah.
I'm gonna enjoy this. I'm gonna enjoy this day. This will be a chartable one. So I wake up and I'm like, oh, this, God help me today. We're doing a lot of rosaries. And it was rough. My body was not cooperating with me. And so I knew, okay, I need to go to bed tonight and I need to get good sleep. So I went to bed in this like drugged up heaven. Y'all, like, it, because I knew my body needed the reset in order to be able to do what we had going on the next day, which was a non-negotiable. Like, we had to be there. It was really important for the family. So I'm like, I have to do this. I'm going to drug myself up. Let's do this. Okay. And with that lovely and super pressure filled thought, I fell asleep and I was like, good on me. Only, yeah, only to be woken up by my preteen daughter asking me if she could watch TV in the middle of the freaking night. Marissa, I almost put her on a plane and sent her to you.
Oh, okay. Which is good because I'm
Yeah.
up all night, so we could have just watched TV together.
You could have watched TV together. Here we go. Rage, my friends. Rage. Like, I did not handle that well. So, here's my, apology to my daughter. Sorry, babe. Here's $20 in the therapy jar. Like, mommy did not handle that well. And I openly confess this with the hopes that my fellow mamas will just completely exonerate me for this. You have all been there. And I say this to say, like, we always say, like, we'll keep it real. Like, kids can feel like energy vampires sometimes. They can, right? Like, I never imagined that my parenthood would include chronic illness. It wasn't like, and so when I first have my first baby, I hope that most of the time I have to nap because I can't care for myself or her. What a great mom I'll be. Like, that was not a part of my Dear Diary. And it's still a grief for me.
Yeah.
And I have felt resentful and anxious and hollowed out by my kids' needs. Like, I think chronic illness or not, most moms can get to that point. But when I stop and ask, okay, why do you feel this way? Instead of just blaming them, it often comes back to how I'm parenting them. And that's the difference, right? Am I parenting them like I don't have a chronic illness? Am I taking on more than I need to? Have I cued in my teammates to my needs? So whether that's my partner or my parents or my friends or my family, right? Am I trying to overcompensate? Right? Like, sometimes you just need to cozy up with them on a couch and watch a movie. And that's even if they've reached their screen time limit for the day and there's still homework to be done, right? Like, be there in a way that's going to honor your limits, but still meet their needs. And I think that's really important because I think as moms were told to be so sacrificial that it's not about your needs, it's about their needs. But then we're emptied. And there's an intersection there, right? Because I have literally told teachers, I will do homework with my daughter if we get to it. But I'm not going to throw like down with my kid who is just like, I'm not going to read this and stress my body out over like 10 more math problems. Like nobody's learning jack here, you know? Like be honest with the teachers. What are you going to do about it, you know? Just the point is to remember your kids will hold on to your presence and your nurture more than like the clean house and the homemade sourdough that you made. It's about honoring yourself and them.
Yeah, I love what you said as far as like, am I trying to parent my kids sort of in this false reality that I'm not living with a chronic illness, right?
Yeah.
And we can use that for every area, right? Am I trying to complete this work or do this job as someone that has no diagnosis and has a full tank and, you know, doesn't take any medication and is very strong and healthy, right? Because you are 100% going to burn yourself out and potentially get yourself extremely sick and into a flare-up. And we know once you're in a flare-up, all sorts of things can happen, right? It's dangerous.
Yeah. And then you're no help to your kids.
Exactly. And, you know, and then you might actually lose your job and then, right? So we've only learned this obviously through years of experience, right? I did not know any of this when I first got diagnosed. So I just want to make that very clear. But what you were talking about, like that's the tender part, isn't it? But it's like the one that we don't always say out loud. And I think it's losing your energy. It's not just about being tired. I think it's more about feeling like you're losing a piece of who you were or who you thought you would be or who you hoped you would be, because waking up and hoping like, okay, this day will be different. It will be like the old me, like pre-diagnosis, where I could check off literally 20 things on a list and not be incapacitated for a minute, let alone like down for a week now.
Yeah.
But our energy changes with illness. And I don't think it's just our physical energy either. It's also that bandwidth that we have for emotional and like psychological and even like spiritual things in our life. So again, like I say this because I've seen it happen in person after person. The longer that you're living with this and the more you are aware of your body and when you are pushing it to the point of no return, right? You will get that awareness and insight over time. And so you get to a point of, okay, this is sort of an X type of day, and I know I'm only going to be able to handle Y. And I'll use that specifically, like I had an infusion on Monday, and by Monday night, I felt so sick. I was in bed for about a 30-hour stretch. I was in bed longer than that, but that was a stretch as far as I got myself food. That is all I did, and I went to the bathroom. Those were the two things I could do. So I knew Tuesday when I woke up, like already going into it on Monday night, Tuesday was going to be an incredibly difficult day.
Yeah.
And so I was only going to be able to handle, when I say the bare minimum. And some days that might just be meaning getting you through the basics, getting your food, taking some medicine, getting yourself to the bathroom when you need, and sleeping it off. And that was my Tuesday and part of Wednesday. And those are the days that hold absolutely zero margin for any of the other energy vampires.
Yeah.
And what I'm meaning is like Tuesday, when I was a hot mess, Brittany, was probably like not a great day to start thinking about, you know, how I'm missing out on something, or I wish I could go back to my old job, or why didn't things happen? Like I had nothing to give. Yeah. And that would have completely just, I think, spiraled me into like a total depression. And so I'm more aware of it now. And again, I think that only comes with time and you know, like experience. But on the days that you actually feel good, like on those amazing and rare days, like that's when we also have to be so careful that we don't waste that precious commodity of a stronger day and a more energetic day on any of the energy vampires in our lives.
Oh yeah. I mean, I want you to repeat everything you just said, because it's hitting me in this place of like, you may be feeling all the feels, like you said, you're having this kind of a day, you're having X kind of a day, and it's a rough one, and you're just at the basics. So this is not the time you're deep diving into the like, why are my emotions so bad? Like, you may be feeling all those things, but like, don't go there, baby girl. Don't go there, bro. Like, because you're not going to be able to come out of that one. It's about saving your energy, right? Like, the energy vampire right then is your mind going down memory lane. Don't do it, like, there's such wisdom there.
Well, and like also, I was so sick on Tuesday, like my blood pressure was super low. I was having a hard time breathing. Like I was just focusing on breathing while I was laying in bed. And then I was just going in and out of like napping over and over again. I don't even think I would have had the mental energy to start thinking about any like bigger things in my life. But I think if I had, because I've done that in the past, or at least tried to, like, you can't even rationally think.
No.
And you're not at your top of your game, right? And so I feel like you're more likely to look at those areas in life that need maybe some introspection. Like you're going to look at them with more of a negative lens because of that moment that you're in, right? So this is not the time to do that.
Yeah. It's like we said in the last episode, your brain is only going to go to, I'm going to die alone. Like, we're not going to like, what's the good things that are happening right here? So yeah, save it. Like, save it for when you have the energy to actually do that work, because emotional work is work. So we have to be so careful, because it's like, we get it. We're in this place. It's like one day you're that person who's juggling everything. You're the go-to girl, right? Like, you're probably that girl in your family. You're probably that daughter, You doing all the work, you're doing the errands, you're doing dinner for friends, you're doing all the birthday parties in a Pinterest style way, You're volunteering, you're laughing about how exhausted you felt at that time when you had no idea what that really means. But you're still doing it all. And then all of a sudden, boom, now you just can't.
Yeah.
What do you do with that,
Well, and I think like you feel like it just stopped, but the reality is like it's not usually this clean break. It's usually very slow and sort of confusing. Like one day you realize you're sitting out a little bit more than you're showing up, right? You're taking a little bit more breaks, like more often than you normally did. And it's not because you don't want to be there and you don't want to be present, but it's because your body's not giving you an option anymore. And it's not so much that even you're listening to your body and what it's telling you, but your body is physically not even allowing you to do it anymore. So maybe that's the moment that you sort of come to this awareness. But it's absolutely giving you those signs like beforehand.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like the car that's sputtering, right? Like you're running out of gas and you're trying, like you're jerking kind of forward to like keep it going, but you're realizing I'm slowing down. And the problem with that is that we're not even sometimes aware, right? Like your body's giving you like signal, but mentally we're like, no, we're good. So then the people around us, if we're in this like stutter stop, right? The closest people to us, they don't always then notice the shift.
Yeah.
Right? Their expectations didn't shift with the changing tide, right? They remember the version of you that could, rally and we could put it together. And so what they're doing is they're inviting that version of you to the table again and again. Right? But you're standing there and you're silently wondering, like, can I still belong? Do I still have a place here?
Yeah. I love that line. Like they keep inviting that version of you to the table because that's what they've known for so long. And they're not experiencing what you're experiencing. And I think also like they don't see how hard we're trying to continue to live at the level that we were at, right?
Yes.
Like we're trying really hard. And then there's that point when it's like, I just can't. I can't even like get there.
You're done. Yeah.
And it hurts. Because I think every single person that has received a diagnosis has felt that moment. And you're grieving. And it's not just about the energy. It's about the identity that's tied to the energy that you had, to the self who could always say yes, right? To the self that didn't have to cancel so often. And there might be even a twinge of disappointment in yourself. And I think for a brief moment, maybe even a shame, right? Because, it's a shame over something that you literally did not cause, something you have no control over. but your brain is still raring to go, right? It's like, come on, like we can do this. And your body's like, absolutely not. Like we cannot do
Yeah.
this. And
Yeah.
it's, it's a very heartbreaking moment.
Yeah, because you're starting to not recognize yourself. You
Yeah.
know, you don't know who you are. It's such shaky ground, you know? And I heard yesterday, it's this French quote, and it sounded so like beautiful when the guy said it in French, but it's basically like when you have your butt between two seats. Yeah, there's like, your cheeks are in one
Oh,
seat, and
yeah.
what, like, you're like, oh, okay, like this is autoimmunity right here. Like
Mm-hmm.
you're still trying to be this, you're questioning your own worth, because like you don't know where you're supposed to be now. Because the world told you mostly, and probably your family, right, and your own internal voices, that your value comes from what you do. Like, how many have heard the word hustle before, right? Like, this is what we're told. Just keep going.
Yeah.
And now you can't do as much. So now who are you?
Well, you're still you, right? You are, but you're changed. And you're not lost, though. You're evolving. And your journey has been altered, but it doesn't mean that it can't still be beautiful and meaningful and full of life, and that you can't find joy and that you can't still enjoy and reach all of the goals that maybe you had originally set for yourself, right? Like my entire world changed after my diagnosis, and I know that that's happened for all of us. But there were those several years of that full dependence on my mom and my grandmother and being in that wheelchair, and I couldn't work for years. And so I had to sort of map out this new life that I was hurled into without any like consent from me.
Yeah.
And I survived it. But that sudden change, like the small changes that have happened over the years, and you may not see them in the day to day, but I can see like over a year and over 5 years and 10 years, like just the growth and the beauty that has happened, right? And I've been able to forge this beautiful life. And I think that that's like where our resilience comes from, like through that time and through all the things that we're learning. So if you're newly diagnosed, though, I absolutely, without a doubt, do believe you will have that moment of awareness years from now, most likely, of, wow, like my entire life flipped upside down, but I still made it. And I still made beauty from the ashes. Like it is possible.
Yes, yes. And I love that because that's it right there. Like when you are diagnosed, your brain's like, nothing good is going to come from this. You can't fathom it. You're in the throes of it. But there will be a point. Yeah, I'm going to die alone. There's no other option. This is it. But like we are here to tell you as two people who've been going through it for a minute, like there will be a point. But this is like the biggest caveat. If you let the work do it, right? Like if you are constantly fighting, if you could, like we could have been 10 years, into our diagnosis, still trying to be the person that we were before. If that's the case, you're not going to make it there. Right. You're going to burn out. But if you like, okay, this is who I am now, and you allow the changes to come, and yeah, grieve it. Yeah, like work through it, right? It's not easy, but if you allow this process to remake you, it's going to be, like Marissa said, a really beautiful life. Mm-hmm. Like it will be that. Like you will make the beauty from the ashes. This isn't just like we have two stories and we just got super lucky. Like we had to let the process work through us because now you need more rest. Now you need more help. Now you need a lot more quiet, right, to help your nervous system. But none of this is going to make you less valuable. Now you're more in control over your needs and who you are and like the richness of becoming a human who knows themselves. Like it's really beautiful. It makes you more aware of what actually matters in life and you start letting go of the crap that doesn't. It's a great thing.
It is a wonderful thing. It may not feel that way like as you're learning all of it, right? It's like,
no.
This sucks. And I think, we should sit with that word awareness for a second, Britt, because like, let's not forget, like energy vampires aren't always people. I think when we hear about it, like just with our friends and online, like our brain automatically goes to people.
Yeah.
And, the reality is, yes, they can definitely be people. There are people that I have or have had in my life that after a conversation with them, I'm exhausted. I was like, I need to go sleep for like a day. But they can also be habits apps on your phone, people pleasing tendencies. They could be overcommitting, especially when you're dealing with a chronic illness. Like, oof, that is, I mean, talk about a landmine if when
Yeah.
you are someone that likes to overcommit, because you put yourself in a really bad spot. Energy vampires can also be these guilt spirals. They could be your doom scrolling habits, comparison on social media. That's a tough one. We're actually talking about that in an upcoming episode. But they could also be even internal narratives that you have forced on yourself, you know, or just like a negative thinking that has been in your life that needs to be sort of fleshed out. And that might sound like, oh, I should be doing more. Look at how much they're doing. I got to push myself a little bit more. But guess what? Like, all of these things, they're taking your tank down bit by bit by bit. And nothing's coming in behind any of those things that I just rattled through. Nothing's coming in behind them and refilling your tank. And that's where the problem is.
Yeah. Yeah. Because you know how they feel, right? But the tricky thing is, well, how to change it. But like we're told, in order to change anything, you have to name it, right? You change it and name it, right? So you have to identify, what is it? Yeah. What is it? I have this feeling in me. I'm feeling anxious. I'm feeling withdrawn. But what is it? So we name it. And, you know, if you need a test for it, like your litmus test is this. If it constantly leaves you feeling like hollowed out and resentful and anxious, or like you are spiraling, well, then guess what? You got yourself an energy vampire.
Amen, girl. And, you know, we've all felt like that at some point, whether it's a pattern that we're just stuck in or behavior, or like I said, like we've felt like that probably with a person at some point in our life. And so if we want to like sort of dig into energy and time a little bit more, like when it involves illness, I think that we have to bring up the spoon theory, right? And a lot of you here may be already familiar with it. And it is definitely, I think it was like a precursor to the term spoonies in our community. I also like to call us autoimmunies, but spoonies works as well. Because if you've lived with a chronic illness for longer than 5 minutes, you have probably heard someone or seen a post that references, I'm out of spoons, or I don't have any spoons for that, right? Yeah. But if you're newly diagnosed, or maybe you're a caregiver listening, or a spouse or a friend, you might be on like, what on earth is like spoon theory? What does that even mean?
Yeah. And so here's your crash course on it, okay? The term spoon theory was coined by Christine Mezzirondino. I hope I said that right, Christine. Like, we love you, girl. So in an essay that she called The Spoon Theory. So she wrote to have like this explanation of like, what does it feel like to live with, and she lives with lupus. So she was at a diner with some friends, and they asked, okay, like, what does this really feel like to have a chronic illness? So
Good
she
friends,
grabbed,
by the way, like, can we just give them a
yeah,
clap? Thank you.
Exactly. Yeah. Not energy vampires right there. Like,
so what is this like for you every single day? Explain it to me in detail. Like,
yes.
Like, you get a gold star just because like we all want friends like that in our life. We
Yes.
need friends like that in our life. So I just want to throw that out there.
I mean, I think the essay is really about how did Christine get those friends? Like, can we, how did you do it? Follow-up question. Yes. So she's sitting with her amazing friends. She grabs these spoons from the table and she says, okay, I'm going to use these to represent my available energy for the day. So, okay, so we have one task: getting out of bed. That's one spoon. Taking a shower. That's one spoon. Making breakfast. Another one. Commuting. Yep. Responding to texts. Definitely one there. Each thing costs a spoon. And when you're out, guess what? They don't get magically replaced. Like, you're out. There are no refills to them.
Right. So you have like a set, her thing was like, you have this set number of spoons every single day. And you don't get any bonus spoons, like whether you're really nice, you don't earn them for pushing through. You just literally run out. And sometimes what we do often is we overexert ourselves. Come on, like we've all done it. Like, especially like we were talking earlier, when you overcommit, right? You push further and further, even though your body is screaming and waving that white flag. And then you start the next day in spoon debt from the day before, because now you have pulled any extra energy that maybe was in the tank on reserve, right? You've already used it up. Yeah. So when someone with chronic illness says, I don't have the spoons for that, they're not being dramatic. They're telling you they literally do not have the capacity at this point. It's not about willpower, right? Like, because if my willpower, like, forget it. Should be able to do everything because there's that much, right? But my body is like, absolutely not. And it's not about your mindset. It's about energy, and about energy being this like finite resource.
Yeah.
And chronic illness, like shrinking the size of your supply, like it's science, like it's biology. And I'm telling you, like, we push ourselves. Those of us with chronic illness push ourselves so much because we don't want to let people down. We don't want to miss out on life because we're hoping like our body can just play nice for the next few hours so that we can enjoy something, right?
Yeah.
And usually we pay awful consequences afterwards that almost no one else sees unless they're living in your same house. And even then, they may not choose to truly see it because, like you said, they might still be expecting that old version of you to show up to the table. And they're just like, well, why aren't you out of bed yet? All you did yesterday was go to like a children's birthday party. It's not a big deal. And it's like, I was already at a really low moment. It was 100 degrees outside. Like, it caused all of these things to happen by last night. Like, I'm not playing by the same set of like instructions anymore. My body is different.
Yeah. The game has changed. I mean, the unsung hero to every person with autoimmune disease is adrenaline. Like, we're just always like, we're assuming that it's going to be there for us. Like, I've got to do this. You got me adrenals right now, but we're going to crash later. Like, and it's, every one of us has been there. Like, it's just, it's rough, right? And you don't know how many spoons you're going to wake up with. Some days you get 5, some days you get 1. Some days you look under the pillow and you're like, oh, cool, -3. Like, I guess I'm going to go cry in the shower. Like, this is what I got today,
Yeah. And that's why we did like this specific episode, because we believe like energy conservation, it's not a selfish thing. Like, this is literally our survival. And Britt and I always like laugh, like, we literally have to plan our day like it's a military operation. Like, okay, what are today's missions? What's my non-negotiables? What can I actually skip? What can I put off to tomorrow, to next week? What can I delegate to someone else? And honestly, like, what can wait? That the end of the world isn't going to happen if I wait on this for a little bit. Like, that is how we look at pretty much every single day.
Yeah. And we have to, right? Because people are still going to ask us, well, why can't you just push through? Or we're going to ask ourselves, like, you're going to be like, hey, Brittany, like, why can't you just like push through this? Why can't you just like rally? Well, it's because we're living with chronic illness, and every spoon now counts. Like, every task is going to cost me something. So, if I let the laundry pile up for a week, like I just did, that was 4 spoons to finish. That pile was bigger than me on my bed. I got lost, A couple days ago when I had to sit down after my shower, that took a couple spoons out. Texting my friend back, and she's going through a lot, and I'm not talking about Marissa right now. She always gives me spoons. But like, there's those friends that like, they're in need. Like, is anybody not in crisis right now? Like, okay, that's going to be 4 spoons. You got to schedule your next doctor's appointment. Okay, a couple spoons on that because you have to wait for 30 minutes for someone to get back on the phone.
Right.
For me, it's getting my kids dressed, fed, and out the door with a lunch and a backpack on time. That's 1 billion spoons.
Yes.
Okay? That's all of them. It's all of them.
I'm going to order you a case from Amazon for that one.
Thank you.
I mean, and that's the thing, like, the energy suckage, like this hot commodity, right, that goes into the daily planning of our life. It's not just something that the chronic illness community, like, we didn't just pull this whole thinking about energy like out of a hat, right? Science completely backs it up. There was a CDC statistic that over 60% of adults in the US live with at least one chronic illness, but for many of them, fatigue was actually more disabling than the pain. And NIH has shown that energy loss in people with autoimmune disease and chronic fatigue is not significantly restored by just resting, right? So the outside of advice of, well, just take a nap.
Yeah.
That's not the way this works.
Yeah.
Which means we don't bounce back. Like, and we certainly don't bounce back the way that we used to pre-diagnosis. Like, it's a crawl. And
Yeah.
sometimes it's a very slow crawl.
Yeah. And it's not like we're saying naps don't help.
Right.
Naps are just now a necessity, right? Like it was the thing that you used to do on a Sunday afternoon, and now it's like I have to do this to survive, but I'm not going back to my baseline. I'm just trying to like be able to get back up. So,
Yeah.
yeah, like that fatigue it's different now,
I love
And
your
then
Sunday analogy, because I think like when you're younger, it's like, oh, I'm gonna like watch a movie and like take a little nap, right?
yeah.
And now it's looking through your daily calendar and saying, okay, there's like a 30-minute, hour-long window that I can get a nap in so that I can make dinner and I can get through the rest of the day.
Yes. Yeah. That's the difference. Yeah. It's not Sunday fun day,
Yeah.
It's like survival. Let's do this, And then, someone comes up to you, and you're in this state of like, okay, survival. And someone's like, doing anything fun for the weekend? And it's like, ma'am, the fun is just getting through the day, like trying to be as present as I can with my husband and my kids, but absolutely knowing that by 5 p.m., even tonight, while my husband makes dinner, because bless him, I'm going to be in bed in the fetal position, like panting for about 2 hours. Like, I'm not making this crap up, just so I can summon enough energy to get up and help put my kids to bed. Like, that's how it is for me most days, is like, I've got this, I've got to just sit here. Okay, get me in the dark room. It's going to be all right. And then like my body's like, okay, we went above empty. And I'm like, okay, back at it. Okay. Or is that like too much information for everybody? But like, that's me.
Yeah.
That's how it is for me.
And girl, like for most people that would ask you that question, many that are healthy, like that response, I don't think they could actually handle the full response. And we know, right? Like we know when someone isn't getting it, or maybe they just don't want to get our reality, or they just haven't had the lived experience, so they just don't understand it. But like if we really reflect, we know who, as far as people, we know who the energy vampire people are in our lives.
Yeah.
But I want to get into something that we don't always call out, and those are our internal energy vampires. Because yes, folks, like these are the really sneaky ones. These are the voices in our head that criticize us and are always that negative reminder of, well, you should still be able to do this.
Oh, yeah.
Or, like, you should be able to handle this. Like, you used to do this all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Mine sounds like, oh, used to say yes to everything. Why are you being so dramatic now? Like, come on.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
It's like, you get a diagnosis and suddenly, all of a sudden we have this inner mean girl, right?
Yes.
And it's horrible. I imagine like four girls coming down the
You can't
high
sit with
school
us.
hallway, right?
Yeah.
And they're just quietly judging us for needing to take a nap. Oh, like the old Marissa could get through a 14-hour nursing rotation at the hospital on 3 hours of sleep and a Mountain Dew. Okay?
Yeah. Yes.
Like, hello, you should still be able to do that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And like these girls come with receipts too, okay? Because they're not just like, we're not going to lob it. They're like, do you remember when you used to clean the whole house in an afternoon? Like it's just like, oh, well, thank you. Thanks, Brenda. Like, yes, I also have a functioning immune system once upon a time too. So, thanks for that,
And we might like also like totally guilt spiral ourselves, which I know I've done, especially in the past, where I'm just like, okay, well, other people have it like a lot worse than me. Like, Mercy, you got to just stop complaining. Or, I don't want them to think I'm lazy. Like, that's the one for me. That is the voice that is the loudest, and it still really hits. Because I know, and like the people closest to me know, I am anything but lazy. But I also know the majority of people I've met with chronic illness are the biggest go-getters I've ever met. They are a group of highly motivated, intelligent human beings. Like, lazy is not in our genetic makeup, right?
Like, I think when you do a personality test, they should also list under your toxic traits, like, most likely will get an autoimmune if you keep this crap up.
Right.
Like just put it out there.
Spinning at such a high type A personality, right?
Yeah.
And we've talked about that and the science behind that in some of our previous episodes. But like this internal energy vampire lie, like it can really cause you to spiral in a certain direction. And when we do that to ourselves, it takes up a lot of the bandwidth that we have a very limited amount of.
Yeah. Yeah. So, like, how do we put a holy cross up to these vampires and say, like, no, with especially these internal ones, because they're so much sneakier, so much easier to be like, I'm not doing that anymore, Karen, but like, how do we talk to ourselves? What do we do with these thoughts? And for me, it comes down to agreements. Like, you have to break agreement with these lies. Because for me, it's like all these lies are floating around out there, right? And they feel like they're coming from our own heads, but it's actually this spiritual battle. And we've talked about that. Like, we're three parts, so whatever your faith may be, you are still a triune human being, which is spirit, soul, and body. So there's this like spiritual battle that we don't see. And out there, they're lobbing these grenades, right? And when we start to see them for what they truly are, then we can start like ducking, and that's the most important thing. So when those lies get thrown at us, like, I'm not enough, I must do more, we can feel them coming in. And then at that moment, we have a choice. You either break agreement or you get hit. And then the neural pathway just gets etched deeper and deeper and deeper because we're agreeing to them. So we have to change the narrative. Like, it's so important for our own well-being. So when I see this lie flying in at me, what I do is I say out loud, I make no agreement. So like I'd left the house and I'd spent the morning and like, all, 80 of my spoons, making sure that it was, clean because we had people coming over later. And I walked back in the house a few hours later. My husband and kids had been home and it wasn't a disaster, but there was just crap everywhere. And I'd already used all my spoons. Like, they were done. And so instantly that lie hit me like boom. And I felt it like land of this, like, everything is on you. And instantly when I felt that like hit me, I said out loud, I don't agree with that anymore. I make no agreement here. And it's like from that place, you stop that lie. It doesn't keep that neural pathway. It's done, right? And then you get to take a detour. You put in the new script. And the new script is one that needs to be full of love and compassion. And it's, I don't have to be in charge of all this. And I can ask for help.
Yeah. And doing that, I think we need to learn to recognize it, right? Which is not easy. Because that's the thing about neural pathways and the ones that have been etched over years. Like, our brain is so used to traveling down them that to recognize it and then interrupt it, like, that's where the work really comes in. Yeah. And then creating that new script of, no, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not thinking that. I'm not going to think that about myself anymore because it's not based in truth. This is, we've talked about it in the past. Like, our brain likes to default to the negative. It is just scientifically what happens. But new scripts, right? And focusing on that interruption, on that recognizing, and then creating that new script. Because the reality is, like, we have new lives, okay? So here's a few as far as breaking agreements and making new scripts that have helped me. And it's just things like, I'm not the same person I was, and it's okay. I'm completely like okay and happy and in love with the version of Marissa that exists right now. Took me a long time to get there, but now I can say it and it doesn't even feel cringy to me the way it used to. But also,
it's
like,
huge.
Yeah. I don't owe anyone my old self back. Okay? Like, and I don't want the pressure of feeling like I have to have like my old self back. And the people that really, at least in the past, I felt like have really put that pressure on me. Well, guess what? There were some really strong boundaries made between me and them. Yeah. And also, resting isn't selfish. It's a sacred thing that I do for myself now. And because I used to feel really guilty about napping. And a lot of that guilt came from one particular person in my family that, growing up, it was just, you don't nap. Napping is for children. You're just lazy. You want to buck your responsibilities. That's your answer, to just go hide and take a nap. And it was like, no, I was struggling from the time I was 8. I knew that my body was like giving out on me and was not like my friends, but it was like, that's all I heard over and over again. So I thought napping was this very selfish act that you just didn't do. And now it's come down to my body is fighting so hard for me, and this is the rest that I'm giving it back so that it can continue to fight hard for me, right? It's a very sacred thing. And also, like, if my body is asking for kindness, I'm going to listen to it, even if the people around me don't understand. And I remind myself of all the time, right? And I just mentioned it a little bit a second ago. And this came to me when I was writing Chronically Fabulous years ago. My body fights for me every single day, all day long. And it has fought for me now for, obviously since I was born, but more so since I was 8 and I started to get sick. So I'm going on almost 40 years. And I am going to now fight for her in every way possible. And that fight, it might look like resting and napping. It might look like functional medicine. It might look like adding in complementary therapies that I maybe would have never tried before. And it might look like tripping that mean girl group in the cafeteria with my lunch tray, right?
Yeah.
I mean, because it might also look like putting stronger boundaries around someone who brings a lot of pressure or a lot of chaos or makes me feel really guilty for things that my health that I don't have full control over.
Yeah. Because you said something earlier. It's just hitting me in this place of like, we have new lives. And I think we spend so much time romanticizing our old life, that old self, that like we thought she was better. But if we're really honest, like most of us with that really driven personality, that old life, that wasn't any version of your true self. Like I felt like I had a lot more energy and a lot more, strength physically, but like I didn't have the mental resilience. I didn't know who I was. I didn't know what I wanted in life. Like those questions couldn't be asked in that old self. And now, we have these new lives, and they're new lives, not bad lives now. And it's about like, I get to ask myself these questions. What do you really want? Who are you really? What do you want to invest in? Because now time is precious. And it gives you this ability to have more than you thought. And so it's actually such freedom, even though it's in this backwards way, and it's hard because people still want you to be your old self, even though now you're trying to fall in love with this new self.
Right.
And they still have this expectation on you to function like your pre-illness self. But now, because we're growing, right, we have that right and we'll have that strength to say, hey, I'm sorry, but I've changed now.
Yeah.
I've changed.
And, like when you speak up for yourself like that and you say something like that in whatever language you want to use, like, and you set that boundary, like it doesn't make you a mean person.
No.
Like it helps you be a functional like human being. And the best part is like that boundary doesn't have to be dramatic. Like you said, like it could be very kind, it could be very simple, it could be very clear. Like, and also like not every no, I've learned, it doesn't have to come with this long dissertation or this long apology. Like it's become one of my favorite words. And I'm just like, no.
Yeah.
And there, you'll see like people just, it's like almost like they're expecting more. And so I tell them, like, if I notice that they're hesitating and I say, no is a complete sentence. No, the answer was no.
Period.
Some people really don't like that. And, but that's okay. This is what we have to do to keep our tanks full and to give our body, honestly, every fighting chance.
Yeah. Yeah, that's like you said. This is how we fight for our body now. This is how we fight for our lives. And I know some of you may be like crawling in your skin right now. And not because you're having a flare up, but because you're like, I can't say these things. Like, I feel so uncomfortable. I'm an Enneagram 9 peacekeeper. And like, I don't know what to do here. And like, we've got your back, right? Because this wasn't something we learned overnight. It wasn't like we got sick and then I'm like, I know boundaries now. No, like decades in the making. Okay. So, from one girlfriend to the next, like, here's some things that can be helpful. Like, here's some quick lines for you so that you can, start these conversations without starting a family feud. But like, maybe if you want, I don't know, you can go to family feud in a good way, but not in a bad way. So, someone's coming to you and they're like, hey, we need this from you. And your response, again, like what Marissa was saying, like, you don't have to be a jerk, but it's, hey, I wish I could, but I'm protecting my energy right now. Simple. you know? Someone, texts you and they're like, I really need to chat with you right now, And you can say, hey, you know what? I'm really depleted today. So either can we do it later or can we just do it via text because I don't got a lot in the tank.
Yeah.
That's okay. Like you don't have to show up for everything, right? You were trying. And sometimes it even looks like I have to say no, even though I'd like to say yes. Like there's parts of you, when you're invited to something you really want to do,
Yeah.
but what, I can't do that right now. And that may be painful, but that's still in a place that puts you back in control. And you can go to them then and say, but please keep asking.
Yes.
Especially when it comes to people asking you to volunteer for things. Like, I really want to be like, the class mom. I want to do all these things for my kids, but I know I don't have all that energy. But I still want to be asked. I don't want to be like kicked off the team because, she's never going to be able to help now. No, like to value someone still asking, like that's really important and give that feedback too.
Yeah. And I think if you're listening and you're not, diagnosed with something, maybe you are the friend, the caregiver, their spouse, like don't blacklist us, like don't shun us. Like we're
Yeah.
asking you, like, please, because it's also really about timing, like if someone would have caught me 2 weeks ago before my treatment, I couldn't even lift my head off the pillow and I had to cancel a vacation, a trip. But now if you asked me in a couple of days or a week from now, I'd probably most likely say yes,
Yeah.
because I'm starting to feel stronger. So if it's that initial, like, I'm sorry, I can't do this right now, like, don't take that as a definitive statement for all time, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And sometimes, I might say to people like, my body's really asking me to rest today, and I've learned not to ignore her. So I'm going to take today off. It's going to be just a day of rest. And I feel as I'm getting older, and maybe my circle is getting older as well, like they understand that. I'm seeing that a lot of people are actually understanding that. And I think it also helps people see, like, this isn't about rejecting them, it's about preserving ourselves. So
Yeah.
I'm not making any of those statements about them. It's I referencing statements, and it is just about me keeping my body to a level that keeps me basically out of the hospital or at the doctor's office.
Yeah. And it's acknowledging it, Yeah, I know I used to always do this, but now things are just a little different,
Yeah.
And it's that reminder that gives people that chance to just start to adjust their expectations instead of it just being a personal thing where you're just like, I'm putting a boundary out and it's a no. It's, I know I used to be like this, but things are a little different. And I think people can get that.
Well, and also, like, Britt, every no you say to what drains you is honestly, it's really a yes to what can restore you. And that's
Yeah.
the goal, right? More healing and less depletion of that tank. So that might be a good way to look at it. Also, like, if this does make you like very cringy, it's like, it stinks that you might have to say no to a few upcoming things this month, but do it and see how you physically feel if in that no you've used that time to rest, to, I don't know, make yourself something that you do maybe with like functional medicine, or to pray or meditate, and just something that might actually refill the tank. It might be art. Like, if this is a concept that's so new to you, I would just say try it and see how you physically feel and see the difference.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Because honestly, once you stop fighting yourself, everything starts to get a little lighter. And I think it's going to be worth it. And we have so much more to say on this, but first we want to take a break to hear from our sponsors and then jump right back with us. We got more. Are you experiencing symptoms of lupus or feeling alone on this journey? The Lupus Foundation of New England is here to help you. They're dedicated to supporting those living with lupus, offering education, resources, and a community to help you navigate the journey. From learning about symptoms and testing to upcoming events and research, the Lupus Foundation of New England has you covered. Visit lupusne.org and connect with others who truly understand. You don't have to do this alone. Visit lupusne.org. That's lupusne.org today.
Trying to figure out what's triggering your symptoms but can't put your finger on it? Try Folia, a health tracking app to help you connect the dots and get to the bottom of what's going on. Download Folia Health free in the App Store with invite code LupusChick. Folia is the one app to track it all. Learn more at foliahealth.com/lupuscheck. That's FOLIA health.com/lupuscheck. All right, guys, and thanks for coming back. So the question is, how do I know if I have an energy vampire lurking around my neck? Well, Britt and I created sort of this energy vampire inventory self-checklist, right? So take a deep breath and close your eyes if you can, unless you're driving, and ask yourself, like, do I feel worse after engaging with a certain person or doing a certain task? Is guilt or fear driving any of the things that I say yes to? Am I getting anything back from doing X, Y, or Z, whether it's emotionally, spiritually, financially, like whatever it is? Is there anything, any type of refilling? Or am I trying to be who I used to be just because I want to make someone comfortable? And another one you could think of is, if I could say no without a consequence, would I do this?
Oh, yeah. I like that one.
Yeah. So if you said any of those, well, congratulations, because you found an energy vampire, and the garlic is optional. But boundaries, those are non-negotiable.
Yeah. Ooh, I like it because that stirs the pot for me. Like, okay, so like, Marissa, what about for you? Like, what are your energy vampires?
Oh, gosh. There's a few, like 1,000. But seriously, I think growing up with my grandma, we had a really big family, and I realized, like, in our big Italian family, like, as women, we were the ones that were expected to, like, be the carers, right, and take care of everything. The house, the food, the cooking, the empathy, the nurturing side, it felt like you were always spinning a lot of different plates, and I think I often still feel like that because I hate feeling like I'm ever going to let anything drop or I'm going to let someone down. Also, there wasn't a lot of stability in our lives as far as like finances. And honestly, we were pretty poor. And I think I still struggle. And you were talking about this word earlier. I really struggle with that hustle mentality. My mom tells me every day, you're still burning the candle at both ends. And I think somewhere deep down, it's because I'm always fearful that I'm going to end up in a situation again where like I'm lacking, right? Or homeless or whatever it is. And that to me is really scary. Yeah. And I don't think that I will ever end up in that situation again. One, because I've set up my life in a way that should prevent that now. But really, it's a vampire that still tries to steal a lot of my free mental energy that I could be doing something else with. Yeah. But like on the flip side, I'd say in the last 5 to 10 years, I've gotten really good at placing space between me and energy vampire people. So my own thoughts, I still really am in a battle with. But people, I've gotten a lot better. And I love many of those people. But I realize I can only connect with them on a very limited basis. And I've seen the benefit and the difference it has made in my life by setting like very far boundaries with them. And I think because I've seen the physical and mental difference and the benefit, that it has taken away a lot of the guilt that I initially had when I did it.
And I hope that you guys can like see through Marissa's response, like that pattern, right? Like it wasn't just like, oh, this drains me and that's my energy vampire. Like the breakdown of what she just said, y'all, is like, this is what happened in my childhood and this is the way that it makes me feel. And so now this is why this energy vampire is there. And like that's what you should take away, you know, in her super vulnerable story is this place of like, you got to think deeper. You can't just stay at the surface. This is an energy vampire. It takes away my energy. I'm not going to do that task. I'm not going to do that thing because then the next energy vampire will be there to take its place. Like you have to understand why you're doing the things that you're doing, you know? And I think that's really important because we always want to give you practical tools of trying to figure out, okay, it's not just like, here, guys, you got energy vampires. Okay, have fun. You know, it's like, we want to like help you change that, you know? And first, you know, we have to stop treating energy like it resets every day. Like, how do we deal with these things? Okay, we've got to like stop our thinking here. Our energy doesn't reset every 24 hours. It just doesn't. It's not going to work that way anymore. And for us, you know, to help try to like reset things, it's like we got to think about it in weekly waves and then not in daily chunks, right? Like we don't have like this is what I'm getting done in the day. No, this is what I'm getting done in the week or the month, right? Like you got to plan your weeks like, okay, I have these tasks and I would like to get it done this week. Okay, here's these 3 things. Then you got to break your task down into categories, right? So it's like a high, moderate, and low energy. Then we got to wake up and assess. Like Marissa was saying before, sometimes I wake up and I've got 5 spoons, and sometimes I go to bed with negative like 5, and you're going to wake up that way too. So you got to assess. And if you're currently working, then, you know, work's got to be in there. You can't just be like, sorry, boss, you know, you're an energy vampire today and I'm just not showing up. So, you know, have you talked to your boss about reasonable accommodations? Are you working from home on days? You know, maybe consider doing the remote work thing, you know, like there's so many more opportunities. Obviously, COVID sucked, but it opened up a world that we didn't have before, you know, so you work from home, you know, your life is different now and it can just suck you under with that difference and that pain, or you can learn to flow with it, like we said before, and allow space for that margin and for that grace. Because often I know, you know, my first response is there's no open door, there's no option until I have to be forced to look for one. And then, oh, there is another option, right? So trust me, Marissa and I have both had to walk away from careers, and, you know, it's just how it works. This is the new life now. So, you know, these moments when you wake up and you're like, wow, I've got 20 spoons. Well, first and foremost, congratulations. And where did you get those? You know, what
Amazon.
Supplement was that? It was Amazon. Dang it. It was a Prime Day special and I didn't get it. Gosh, that's on me. That's on me. So yeah, you woke up with 20 spoons, high energy day. So do your focus task, mop that floor, girl. Like you did it, you know? But when you wake up with 3 spoons, then it's a low energy day and you got to do gentle recovery task and low output things, right? So it's not about judging the day, not about waking up and being like, this is going to be a bad day because I don't have a lot of spoons. It's just more like, it's just taking information in more. Just use it as like an assessment point. Oh, it's going to be this kind of day. I assess this and now I'm going to work with what I have, no judgment.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because like living with chronic illness now, like I was never a planner, and it has forced me to turn into more of a planner, right? Like when we were talking about like this is a military operation we're writing down.
Yeah.
That's what we have to do. And you know, Britt and I are always here for like the but how questions, right? So we want to give you like a toolkit to help you successfully apply some margin, but still get all that crap done that you need to. And you might want to color code your calendar. I literally, like right next to my computer right now, I have a thick yearly calendar. And that might be like green for go, yellow maybe, and red. But you know, remember like your joy activities, things that you love, like those are never red, right? And schedule rest like meetings. Like I'm going to lie down at this time. Just literally stare at my ceiling or just listen to some music. And I think one of the biggest things that Britt and I have come out of with all of this is stop for a few minutes and do an audit of your week and really think about like, and this is an exercise I'm telling you, practice it once and just see like what gave me life this week, what really made me feel amazing and energized even in a moment when I was like completely down. You know, sometimes I will feel that way, and then Britt and I will talk, and an hour later I'm raring to go. Also think about what stole it this week. And I am telling you, you do this for a few weeks and you're going to get some serious data about your life, about your thinking, about people around you. I promise you this. And also have those recovery rituals. After big events, don't schedule anything. Like, I need a day to recover at times, but let's say I have to travel for a speaking engagement or whatever. Like, I know that for that next day or two, I can't plan anything, or I have to plan as little as possible, which means no doctor appointments, no infusions, no big plans with friends, you know, and then have that backup plan for the days that you're really flaring. Like, have a gentle to-do list. Maybe you're just going to color. Maybe you're going to watch Netflix. When you have extra food on the days that you feel good and maybe you cook, throw some in the freezer, because like those are the easy meals that save me on those low spoon days or no spoon days.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, these are still plug and play, like what Marissa said. Like, oh, okay, like this is helpful. Like, this is how I can actually still live a full life, right? We're not saying like cancel everything. You're sick now. Congratulations. It's no, like, you still got to get things done, the things you want to do and the things you don't want to do. But it's just figuring out a way to actually do it that's sustainable. Because I think for me, the low energy days, like they weirdly catch me off guard, which is so stupid. I'm always like, what?
I'm here again.
Yeah, why? Like I forgot that I had an autoimmune and I have to rest, It's so weird. And it shouldn't surprise me, but that's just where my brain goes. So when my schedule is packed for the day because I didn't budget in the rest days, then I'm left feeling like a failure. And that's not my body's fault. That's my own mind. Like I did this to myself. But when I look at my calendar and there's margin, then I have this grace that automatically is there from my body. So when I wake up, I'm not totally caught off guard that I'm having, a hard day or I'm negative spoons. It doesn't become this indictment, right? It's just something that is there and I can have some space for it now. And like, oh, okay, well, it's going to be one of those days and that's all right. And then I'll do these tasks instead. And then when I'm better, I'll just do the other ones. But for me, like, we got to talk about something that sounds like wisdom, but it like stinks so much like fear. And I don't know if this attacks you a lot, Marissa, but can we talk about energy anxiety? Because let me like flesh that through, because sometimes I protect my energy, not because I really need to, not because, like I'm trying to budget things in, but because I have energy anxiety. And it's this feeling of like, okay, I do finally have enough margin and space to do something that I love. Like for me, it's been to paint my art room. I really wanted to do that. And I've been staring down that freaking paint sample for like 7 whole weeks.
Been hearing a lot about this paint sample.
Yes, I just walk by, like, give it the eye, and I'm like, I see you, like.
I'm coming for you.
One day, you're going down, And then this voice pops up, and it says, but wait, can you trust this? I don't know, maybe she's got, like, a British accent. So it's like, is the crash coming? Should I not be doing this or enjoying this? Am I going to set myself back? Like, so I better just stay in bed and rest. Because like don't do it, like is that just a me thing?
No, I think that we all do this. I experienced that like a lot of energy anxiety, I would say, in that moment where I'm starting to come out of a flare, or like especially a very long challenging flare like we both have had this last summer, because I get what I like to call these faux flare, these post faux flare days, okay?
Yeah.
Where you think, oh, like I woke up today, I'm actually feeling like pretty good, like that light switch flicked, and you think like I'm coming out of this, right? Like,
yeah.
Woo, like today's great. And so I do all the things because I'm like, all right, that flare's on its way out. And then like for the next week, I'm laid up in bed and the flare is like, haha, I was just kidding. Like I was on my way out, but I wasn't totally out. So I think on those days, like when they occur at the tail end of a flare, I've learned to still use that day as a low energy day, even though I may not feel like that, because I feel like it depletes me really quickly and my body isn't quite ready for it.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's just a way for me to, I don't want that flare to extend any longer, because trust me, every cell in my body and my brain is like, let's go, like, get that done,
Exactly. Yeah.
But I think I've learned to just be more cautious.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like energy, like use it, but intentionally, mostly for joyful things if you can. And then we have to rest with just as much purpose. Like we have to hold both now.
I love that, because I think like sometimes it's like, you think of rest and it's like, okay, I have to, right? My body has to recover. It's boring. I can't get anything done. But like, when you say like with just as much purpose, it does have so much purpose, right? Because that is what keeps us going.
Yeah.
So, all right, we covered a lot today on energy vampires. And throughout this, you may have started to wonder where in your life you have them. So here's our gentle challenge for the next week. Find one energy vampire in your life, whether it's a person, a behavior, a pattern, just one of them, and throw some holy water on it, okay? Whether it's a task, a habit that you have, a conversation, and just, or even like we said, a thought pattern. And when you find it and you do throw that holy water on it, let us know, because we want to cheer you on. You can always chat with us on Instagram. You can find us at I'd Like to Unsubscribe, or at Lupus Chick Official, or at The Chronic Chick. We are all over, so come and chat with us.
Yes. No, seriously, because we really do want to know what you're walking away with. We don't want to just be sitting here chatting at each other, right? We talk on the phone all day, you know? So, like, we want to be the ones to remind you not just what you're walking away from, but what you're walking towards. And that for us is peace and rest and sanity, and the nap. That is not a punishment, but like that actually helps.
Yeah. And honestly, listen, if no one told you this today, like, your energy matters. Your rest, it is not a reward. You do not have to apologize to anyone for honoring your body, okay? This is wisdom, and it is strength. And you know, we are called, I think, for people living with chronic illness, like, we are called to listen to this and acknowledge it. And we don't have to apologize for this.
No, because y'all, you're not too much. And you're not falling behind now. You're just learning now to move at the speed of healing. And that's holy work.
Yeah. So until our next episode,
unsubscribe from what drains you.
All right. And subscribe to what actually sustains you, because Britt and I are always rooting for you. Always.
Always. See you, tribe.